All right. So, do you want to do any more stuff for this podcast? Because I still have things to talk about. Or if you, I've been like, I have diarrhea of the mouth.
Do ya?
Yes. I love hearing the sound of my own voice. And I love how you and Harao, to a lesser extent, are here to validate it. With all the pauses and off-topic shit. We only have 20 minutes worth of content. Please go ahead and continue if you want.
Hey, this is Morgoloth.
And this is Electro Party Cat.
And this is the TBC podcast.
All right, so if everyone remembers, during the Christmas episode, we bought each other a bunch of Steam games. And we also played each other's games because Party Cat recommends you get a bunch of friends together and then you all add each other as Steam friends, and then you can play each other's libraries when you're not playing. Now, I've been playing the crap out of two games in particular, Dead State and Gods Will Be Watching. Dead State I bought for myself. Gods Will Be Watching I received for my gift. What have you been doing, Morgoloth?
Well, I've been playing a lot of Cave Story recently. Cave Story Plus. I need to get back into Bastion. It's a lot easier with the controller than it is with the keyboard. And also, I bought myself the Stanley Parable and Super Win the Game, both of which are enjoyable.
I've been looking
of yours. I've been playing that YS game.
Ease. Yeah, I'm serious. It's pronounced Ease.
Ease.
It uses the French pronunciation.
I see. Well, pardon my French.
Yeah.
Hario said he's a Final Fantasy XIV addict. He's trying to convince me to download it.
Yeah, the only MMO that I play is Neverwinter Nights. And yes, I realize that's not necessarily an MMO, but there are people that use it like an MMO. All right, so I'd have to say that I am really, 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 really enamored with Dead State because Dead State takes place in Texas. Is there actually a place called Splendid, Texas? I don't think so.
Splendid?
Yeah.
I don't think so. There is. I've never heard of it.
Yeah, I'm trying to look that up in Google Maps right now. And it takes Splendid, Texas is it's in between San Angelo and if you drew a line from San Angelo to Stephenville, it would be in between those two. Because where the game takes place, it was really strange because I go a lot of places. Like I've been in the game. I've been to Austin. I haven't been to San Angelo yet, but I've been to Stephenville and I've been to Dublin, Texas.
Yep, I know where those places are.
Where the Dr. Pepper used to be produced.
Yes. And
it's kind of weird visiting all these small towns and basically living through a post-apocalyptic scenario. It's really kind of it has a very old school late 1990s feel to it because the best description that I've heard is that it's like Dead State is like a combination of Walking Dead, Fallout 1, and Suikoden. It's because you wake up in a school and you have the choice of what to do. And you could, of course, just kind of go it alone and be a crazy survivalist. But the most fun of the game comes from from finding other people, bringing them into your shelter, getting them all to do different tasks because they all have their strengths and weaknesses, and building a shelter that kind of works. And so you get more survivors, you bring them in, and then there's all kinds of threats. There's zombies, but of course the main theme of Dead State is that the zombies are only a catalyst for disaster. Humans are the worst enemy. And so you're always getting into conflicts with, I'll try to keep it vague, other groups and other situations, and having to deal with survival. And the battle system is like Fallout. And a lot of the game is spent trying to accumulate resources. So you just wander around on the map. You just have a blank map that you find at a restaurant. It's kind of funny because like how you have like those placemats at restaurants, like at Steak and Shake in particular, and they usually have advertisements on them or they give some information about something or other.
Yeah.
Early on in the game, you get you get a placemat from a restaurant that has a map of the area of Texas that you're in. And once you get that, then basically you just wander around using that map, and you try to find towns and places, and then you go in there, and then you have to use a Fallout-style interface to clear the area of zombies and perhaps other hostile survivors. And you have to accumulate luxury goods to keep people's morale up, because if people's morale isn't up, they might either leave your shelter, commit suicide maybe. You don't know. You also have to get food, and you also have to get building materials. Like you have a fence outside of your shelter compound, and you just have to get stuff and just throw it on your wall. Like my wall is like full of like hammers and nails and stuff. Just like getting random items, just throwing it on my wall. And so, and you also have, and then there's also other supplies that pop up every now and then. I don't think it'll be a big spoiler, but there's like every now and then you'll get random missions like, hey, there's a wasp nest and people are afraid. Could you go raid some hardware stores and look for some wasp nest killer? And so then you have to go, either if you don't have any handy, then you have to look at your map and try to see if there's any notes that anyone, because people will come, and once they come to the shelter, people who are locals will volunteer information, say, oh yeah, like look here, look there. I know there was like a hardware store there. I know that there was like some residential areas there. And then you can, then you get clues for where you can look for more stuff, more food, more medicine, more hardware supplies, more weapons. And then of course, like you're fighting zombies and stuff. So it's really great fun. I've put like 70 hours into it since Christmas.
Wow.
I know. According to my Steam, okay, I'm sorry. Did I say 70 hours? I meant 76.
Ah. Wow. I might have to look into it then.
I really highly recommend it. And if you have great friends like me, then they'll eventually let you play it for free on their Steam account. The problem is that whenever I get on, no one else can play my game, so Morgoloth has to wait until I'm done.
Yep.
The other game that I was playing a lot of was Gods Will Be Watching, and this is a game that is insanely, frustratingly hard. Like it is like kick a hole through the wall and punch your mom hard. It is hard. It is really hard. Like, it was hard, so I turned it on medium difficulty level. That was really hard, so I turned it on so I put it on easy difficulty level. And that was still too hard, so I had to put it like on very easy difficulty level.
Wow.
They have an even easier mode because it's so hard that they have a narration mode, and that is, if you are having a hard time playing this game and you just want to see this and you just want to see the ending and see how the story ends, then you can just turn on that mode and it will just walk you through it.
Wow. That's ridiculously easy.
That is ridiculously easy. But you have to understand that mode was put in there for a good reason, because this game is extraordinarily hard, and it actually adds a lot to the charm of it, because if it wasn't hard, then it wouldn't make any sense. Because the game is about survival. It is, I would have to say, it's a survival horror game, but it's really the truest form of horror, like of survival, because you're not worrying about zombies. You're worrying about stuff like dying of cold, dying of starvation. Guys will be watching is I don't want to give away too many details, but it's a science fiction game. It takes place in the far, 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 far future, where there's stuff like faster than light travel. And you're on a mission, and it goes horribly, horribly wrong. And the mission goes from bad to worse to just way, way worse. And the game is hard, and you have to make decisions, survival decisions. And in these decisions, you sometimes have to make sacrifices to allow yourself to survive, or to try to get the group to survive. And I'm not entirely sure how it is yet. I don't want to give away too many spoilers, and I'm not. And I know the game is also kind of messing with my head, so there is a sort of like a psychological element to it, definitely. Because like I'm starting to get this sound that I don't want to say a supernatural Silent Hill vibe, but because that makes it sound, because that would, I don't want to say it's survival horror like Resident Evil or Silent Hill, but the game is definitely messing with my head. And you have to make survival decisions, and it's not unusual in the game for people in your party to die, and then you just have to deal with it, because it's just really hard. And you have to make tough decisions, like make people take risks. You have to send someone tell someone to go do this task, even though you know in your heart there's like a 60% chance that they will get killed in the process, just so that way everyone else can have a better chance of surviving. And the point of it is that when you make these decisions, the gods will be watching, and you will be judged for your decisions. It is a very frightening game that messes with your head and is extremely difficult, and it has to be, because if it was easy, then the decisions would have no weight. I mean, what's the point of if it's as easy as like punching a brick, and then some magic mushrooms come out of it, and then you could defeat everyone in your party, then that's like that doesn't the gods don't really care. They're not really going to care what happens. But I mean, if you're starving and you have to rip someone's dog from their arms and kill them, so that way someone else has enough food to eat, while someone's crying because you're murdering their dog in front of them, that's going to leave a lasting impression on someone's mind, maybe even their soul, if they have to do things even worse.
Wow, that's that'd be a tough decision.
And the worst part is that you can get lucky in the game. You might just hit the right combination at the right time, and it's like, oh, hey, look, I have enough supplies that everyone can live happily ever after. But the game uses a lot of randomly generated variables. One of the things that makes the game easier is that there's no hard. There is no true hard, medium, easy, and very easy. What it is that there is a hard and a medium mode, but there's hard with no variables. Then there's easy, and then easy with no variables. So I mean, when you have variables, it's oh, hey, yeah, go hunting for some food. And then it's like, oh, well, actually this person, got sick and now they can't hunt for food. So they didn't get any food. So you're screwed. That is where a lot of the difficulty comes from. And then you have to make suboptimal decisions. Because after enough people get sick, then all of a sudden that guy's dog is starting to look, and no one's hunting, then all of a sudden that dog looks really delicious. So if you want a really hard game that will mess with your head and like make you sick to your stomach and cry, Gods Will Be Watching is my recommendation. Now, Dead State, on the other hand, is just fun. My one piece of advice to you is go big or go home.
On Dead State?
I'm sorry, yeah, on Dead State, not Dead Space, Dead State. I do that a lot. Like, people are saying, what are you playing? And I say, Dead Space. And everyone's like, oh, yeah, that was an awesome game back like in 2007 or 2009. And I'm like, oh, wait, I mean Dead State. It's a new game. And it's awesome. But being aggressive in Dead State really pays off. I mean, if you have some zombies, and it has a really interesting leveling up mechanic in that you do not gain any experience whatsoever from combat. You can kill 100 enemies or no enemies, and you get no experience whatsoever. The only thing that you get experience by bringing home supplies, food, luxuries, fuel, gasoline, and hardware. And for every amount, for every like pound of supplies you bring back, that's how you get experience. And so you can either be so for some people who don't like for some people like who want to play it very strictly, you can have a really bad time because your characters can get infected, and then you have to worry about someone potentially turning into a zombie inside your shelter. And I can imagine that getting making the difficulty really hard. Where was I going with this thought? Frack. Sorry, Harrell. Editing nightmare. Well, anyway, there's it's supposed to encourage you to take a safe and cautious approach where you're a scavenger. Some supplies you take, but then you might have to leave some supplies because there's hostile thieving bands, criminal gangs protecting those supplies, too many zombies. But my advice is the best way to avoid any problems is just to be aggressive. Like go get the biggest guns you can find, and whenever someone challenges you, just beat them down and take their stuff. Like if you see a zombie like carrying some supplies, kill the zombie and take their supplies. Take everything you can. Take everything that's not nailed down. That is how you make the game easier for yourself in the long run, because a lot of the challenge comes from having to manage supplies and say, oh, we need to use supplies to keep our toilets running. We need to use gasoline to keep the generator running. Oh, we need to we need to like have enough food. We're worried about the food, or oh no, our food's going to spoil because we don't have enough parts to fix the refrigerator and the food's going to rot. If you see a zombie in a car, just kill the zombie and siphon the gas out of the car and take it with you.
A zombie driving a car?
No, like he gets stuck. He's like just wandering around the car. Like he got zombified when he was in the car, and now he's just kind of like hanging around the car. Kill the zombie and take his gas, siphon the tank, and just leave. And then like take whatever he has on him, because like sometimes like other people die and they have like a lot of supplies on them. And if someone shoots at you, shoot back, because if you shoot back fast enough, then like you can take all their ammunition. And yeah, and it. I would say that if you have an aggressive play style, then the game rewards you because you can get a lot of stuff, but it's still fun. Though if you're doing something like what was it called? Pro Jared does his what do they call it when he does that, when Pro Jared plays that Pokemon game and when a Pokemon gets killed it's just dead?
Nuzlocke.
Yeah, if you were doing a Nuzlocke run, like, you could potentially lose a lot of people playing this game, taking my strategy. But since I abuse the shit out of quick save, like, I'm fine. So now that I know what I do, now that I know better, is if you just get as much armor as you can from hardware stores and, like, give your guys work boots and, like, welding helmets and leather jackets and whatever, and give them, like, big weapons like sledgehammers. Like, don't give them dinky weapons like screwdrivers and, you know, and like little ball peen hammers. Like, no, go big or go home. Like, give your guy don't use chainsaws though, because they give a lot of noise and they attract people to you, and then you lose the element of surprise. But just go around with sledgehammers and just destroy shit, and then take their shit and then throw it on your wall, and then you'll have a nice big wall protecting your shelter, and you'll have a lot of gasoline and food and DVDs to make everyone happy. And DVDs? Yeah, I gotta get DVDs, dude. Like, put the DVDs in, and then, like, people forget about their problems. Like, they forget it's the zombie apocalypse, and, like, they just grab some CDs from, like, a music store. Like, just listen to stuff. Just listen to twerking over and over again. Yep, that's the life.
Huh. Well, I'm gonna have to check that one out too.
Don't forget to like, comment, and share.
Thanks for listening to the TBC podcast. See you next time.
So what's next on the agenda?
There was no agenda.
I know, isn't that? This is why I need someone else to lead my conversations. Otherwise, I'm just like, hey, meow, 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 meow.
Well, it just kind of turned into this big conversation that ended up being recorded.